The rapid advance of technologies in the last decades is causing an alarming consumption of natural resources. The supply of many essential materials for electronic devices production is at risk. For this reason, it's important to increase the recovery and recycling levels in order to ensure that there are enough metals to respond to the future society demands. This proposal rises from the successful project executed in the Call of Knowledge Industry Programme funded by European Community. The project, developed by the research group BioGap and the Smart Sustainable Resource Center of Universitat Politècnica of Catalunya, has been recently patented. The problematic of the growing generation of electronic waste can be converted into an economic opportunity if it's focused on obtaining valuable metals resources for the development of a technological but also a sustainable society. Our research group has developed a biotechnological process for electronic waste managers and related companies that allows to recover metals from obsolete electronic devices with greater value than the price obtained for the waste, not as the conventional process that need to be centralized with large volume, high energy consumption and high environmental impact. Taking advantage of the metabolic activity of specific microorganisms to create and regenerate leaching agents, main metals can be extracted and selectively separated from end-of-life mobile phones.
Parkinson's disease and essential tremor are the most common tremor syndromes worldwide, affecting about 500 million people. During the medical evaluation distinguishing between these two tremor diseases can be uncertain in the early stages, so the risk of misdiagnosis is high. Our research focuses on the analysis and classification of movement disorder using wearable devices and artificial intelligence. We are developing an e-health app that uses the inertial sensor of the smartphone or the wearable devices to record movement disorders. The recorded inertial data is later analyzed and classified to provide useful information to the treating physician. There are several national and international institutions helping us to develop these research projects, such as Hospital Clínic de Barcelona, Campus Neurológico Senior, Universidad de Lisboa, Hospital da Luz in Portugal, and the non-governmental organization called Centro de Trastornos del Movimiento in Chile. The beta version of this app is already able to record the history of the patient disease and then record the kinematic movements. All this information is sent to a web server to be analyzed and classified in real time. It should be noted that this first-class app is the initial stage in the development of an integrated wearable devices capable of incorporating a large amount of data to provide objective information to the physician for the decision-making, either in clinic or through telemedicine.
The measurement of the relative translation of the tibia with respect to the femur is a common clinical procedure to assess the instability of the knee, which could lead to injuries in other interarticular structures or to a chronic degeneration of the joint. Common techniques either imply two subjective methods or involve bulky devices, which need to be sterilized in the operating room. The solution proposed was developed in the Simulation and Movement Analysis Lab within the research group of Multimedia Applications Lab from UPC, in collaboration with knee surgeons of Hospital del Mar and ICANME. We developed this Android application which processes a video of the surgeon performing the typical knee instability tests and identifies the anterior-posterior translation of the knee. The surgeon only needs to place adhesive markers in 3 landmarks at the knee and record the video with his mobile phone while performing the laxity tests. Then, The surgeon can compare quantitatively the instability of both knees with this mobile application in a straightforward way.
A software tool for analyzing sensor data in complex drinking water networks will be presented. This tool allows validating sensor data using a set of tests. Invalidating data can be reconstructed using models that exploit temporal and spatial redundancy. It also allows extracting knowledge of the validated data, allowing assessing the water network efficiency and sensor data quality. The UPC Research Center of Supervision, Security and Automatic Control has developed this tool in collaboration with the company Aigües Ter Llobregat. This company is in charge of the network that transports drinking water to more than 60% of the cities in Catalonia, more than 200 hectometers cubic per year. The same methodology is currently being applied to other drinking water networks, as the case of Tarragona and Terrassa. The proposed data validation methodology consists in applying a set of tests to analyze the data reliability. All the raw data must overcome a set of tests to become a validated data. Otherwise, this data is not validated and must be replaced by an estimation using temporal and spatial models. This project can be potentially applied not only to water networks, but all types of utilities, gas, electricity. It can also be applied in the industry in the framework of Industry 4.0 digitalization process.
According to the World Health Organization reports, cardiovascular diseases killed 17.5 million people in 2012. Even though early diagnosis and periodic monitoring of the patient or risks can reduce the impact of this cardiovascular disease, these strategies cannot be afforded by healthcare systems using currently available technologies, which often rely on costly and scarce devices operated by highly trained staff in medical centers. The research has been conducted by the Instrumentation, Sensors and Interfaces Group of the UPC. The objective of this research has been to obtain a very low-cost electronic system that can obtain the maximum cardiovascular information from the patient in the shortest possible time and without the need to place electrode on the chest. This facility is used by untrained users in any out-of-hospital environment. We have developed a medical device able to monitor the performance of the cardiovascular system that relies on two complementary inventions. The first one is the detection of the electrocardiography and one arterial pulse wave with information proximal to the heart by using only 4 dry electrodes, 2 for each hand or arm, and measuring, in addition to the electrocardiography, changes in the limb-to-limb electrical impedance, the so-called impedance plethysmography. This impedance plethysmography signal provides information proximal to the heart. The second invention is the simultaneous detection of the bilateral distal arterial pulse wave using the same 4 electrode set and measuring the electrical impedance between the 2 electrodes in the same limb. With these 2 signals, it's possible to obtain the projection period, a good indicator of the myocardial contractility, and the pulse travel time, a good indicator of arterial elasticity. Furthermore, respiratory information can be derived directly from the electrocardiography signal and also from the limb-to-limb impedance plethysmography, as this included in the impedance pneumography. Therefore, signals measured with only 4 electrodes provide a wealth of information about the electrical and mechanical condition of the heart and the mechanical status of the arteries that cannot be obtained by any other equivalent method, plus respiratory information. Similar impedance plethysmography measurement can be performed with the 2 feet, so that the arterial system of the lower limbs can be characterized.
Cerebrovascular diseases include a variety of medical conditions that disrupt the brain's blood vessel and the cerebral circulation. One of the causes that can lead to strokes are malformations of the veins supplying the brain. The anatomy of the internal venous system of the brain is very similar to humans. In order to prevent vascular diseases or malformations, it is important to detect at an early age, at newborns or pediatric patients, the susceptibility to suffer from them in the future. The project has been carried out in collaboration with Dr. Josep Munuera and his team of Hospital Sant Joan de Déu in Barcelona. In particular, the option developed by this present project consists of evaluating the symmetry of the cerebral hemispheres as an indicator of the presence or absence of certain veins. The aim is to end up creating a graphical user interface, specifically a web application for health professionals in the diagnostic imaging department. The premises are that it should be accessible, intuitive and easy to use, without the need to install complex software. The platform is structured by panels in which the corresponding image is displayed after having applied the relevant image processing. This image processing sequence was developed by Gemma Mijankos, a colleague of biomedical degree in her final dissertation, and was programmed in MATLAB software. The challenge of this present project has been to adapt all the code previously devised and validated to the Python programming language. The tool created should support the doctor's decision to diagnose malformations or cerebral accidents and has to be used as a complement to other clinical tests that has been performed to the patient.